How do we get inside? I can't do like that, try to get inside like this because he lowers my hand, lowers his other hand. Boom. No. But I am going to get inside in many ways. When he comes holding me on the head, this is called lichen. Super important. Lichen, that is to be able to control the arms. If we control the arms in the body to body, we control that exercise. Everybody rests their hand there. It looks like it's fine. Push my face. Okay. Push my face now. He can't. Why? Because I have the fulcrum. I can do a matadéon without knowing how to do jujitsu because I only know one jujitsu technique. So we have to learn Muay Thai, not just Muay Thai techniques, okay? That's what you have to take into account. That I don't pretend I can do 1,000 techniques here now that you say how beautiful, how freaked out. But it's not my intention. Okay, my intention is for you to learn and to progress in these things, okay? Not that they learn techniques that in the end are very relative.
Well, I started out in other martial arts, like almost everyone else. At first, Muay Thai was quite unknown at that time, and I went to the United States, and there for the first time I met some Thais. I fell in love with the art. When I returned to the United States, and I started to read a little about Thailand, I live in the Canary Islands. At that time, there was no internet. The information was very scarce, what there was.
What years?
Many years ago I had, well, I think more than 30 years ago.
First exercise. First exercise we're going to do, and we're going to change pretty quickly. Put yourself there, that is. Think about it. I take it with one hand, the other hand on my back. You catch me the other time. It's an exercise to warm up the neck, and at the same time, we're going to learn a very basic thing, which in the melee, many people don't do. They are movements so that we never fall underneath when we turn from the partner, okay? And at the same time, we're warming up, okay? So, once every one, turn. And the same thing. That's it. That's it. Why?
I began to fall in love with. The truth is that in the United States was when my first time I really saw Thais training. I really saw, and it was all by chance, simply. I fell in love with the art. To be honest, I had something different about it because I came from traditional martial arts, and then I switched to kickboxing, full back, but it lacked a little bit of that essence that martial arts had. When I saw the Muay Thai, I realized that it was a martial art with a very strong part of combat sport.
One thing, look carefully. Many are doing it on the contrary. I'm going to pull to the side that I have my arm. Now, yes, but before shooting, I move my left foot to be able to do so. Turn well. Okay. This, although it seems silly, is one of the main bases for melee for clinch, okay? Many of the times when we're holding on, we want to turn and we do not move our foot. And then what happens? That we always fall underneath. We have to learn to move, and this is going to help me. This exercise that seems silly is going to help us a lot with anything. When he has a knee, boom. All the movements of displacement are the same, and it is very important. At the same time, it helps us to warm up. It is important that we move the left foot opposite the hand. When we have the other arm, we pass the right foot and turn.
I fell in love. I already started traveling to Thailand. From the first day I set foot in the country, I not only fell in love with the sport, but also with the culture, with the people, with the food, with the language, and the truth is that it was that I started to train at Muay Thai for that reason.
And now it shifts this back at the same time as it rotates. Now, clear, exact, which was one inwards. No, the two on the same side, the two on the same side, and two on the side. I mean, whenever you're going to pull over here, if you don't shift this leg, you're going to fall underneath. So you have to remove that leg to make room like this, one on the inside and one on the outside. But now, simply, the one on the outside only keeps his hands open, okay? Because we're warming up, just pushing a little bit towards me, and I do the same thing. I do the same thing as now. I lift this one, I bring this one down, and I move my foot. 1, 2. Now I change 1, you now. 1, 2. This movement is very important. At the same time that it helps us warm up, you are teaching us to move in the melee, in the clinch. Very important to pass your foot before turning, okay? And make space and make room, okay? We have to make space. If we don't make a space, we don't open a gap, we're always going to fall underneath, okay? So that's very important. For the exercise to be done correctly, the two of us have to do our part. That is, the one who has his hands on the outside has to push a little, make a little force, so that I, who have my hands inside, can turn well. Because the reality of combat is like that, okay? We stay as straight as possible. We don't hold our ass back. We stay pretty straight. And we hold, twist, hold, and turn. The more we stick our arm to our body, the easier we will move it. It's harder to do it open, much easier to do it glued together. I have a place to change my position for his. What does that mean? If he's here, he's got to end here.
But I've read that you started with Jidoju.
I started with judo.
Did you even try Kung Fu?
Many years doing Kung Fu. I love all martial arts. Today I love any martial art. That is, not only I dedicate myself to Muay Thai professionally, but I am a lover of all martial arts. I did a little bit of Jin Chun. I did a little bit of Kali, Kung Fu for a long time. I started in Judo. I tried Taekwondo. Pretty much everything, everyone. I love them. I love martial arts in general.
And we continue. If you notice, they are warm-ups, but we're learning many things that will help us later in our work, okay? Okay, we grab inside again. Block. Push. Now you. Inside. Block. Push. That's it. Leg change. Boom. Block. Boom. Push. Change of legs. Boom. Block. Now he pushes towards me, pushes me, and I keep my balance a little bit. I keep his strength a little bit. I try not to let him push me. He keeps pushing me. If I have to take a little step back, I jump. But we do that strength exercise, we get to this position. Now, I push with my knee, I push with my tibia, and hit my knee, okay? We do it on one side and on the other. Blocking, pushing, bread, knee, blocking, pushing, wherever you want. The thing is that when you do like this, the other one comes, son, you use it, you can push it and get on your knee. Because the other person that we normally have is that we are working now. It can be reached in many ways. You can get to, for example, when he comes at me, I just can boom block, okay? I can kick each your arms, boom, and boom block, okay? I can be working on the body to body. I can throw a knee there and block so that he can hit me, so that he can't hit me anymore. When he grabs, I can get to this position, defend. So we're going to do those 3, 4 inputs, and then we continue working on that. First, he comes, I defend. It doesn't matter if it's on the outside or on the inside, because on the outside, some things are going to be done. On the inside, they're going to do others. Boom. It doesn't matter if you grab on the outside, because there are times when you grab on the outside, there are times you have to pay for them on the inside. But on all occasions, you can do many things, okay? So first, I defend. Second, I kick, elbows closed so as not to hurt my teammate. I kick, I defend, okay? Third, grab, defend, okay? Let's go to those 3, okay? Blocking, when it's good, it's important that the other does the work of coming. Boom, and I defend, okay? Second kick, boom, fei, defend, okay? Very important, grab, defend.
What is the difference between Spain and Thailand?
Well, in Thailand, training is focused on competition. Nowadays, training camps are changing a bit because they have realized that 90% of the people are not competitors. 90% come to the gym to practice a martial art, a combat sport, a self-defense system, and only 10% dedicate themselves to competing. There, of course, it is totally different. The training is focused on a job and a business. For them, the competitors are workers because they earn money with them, so it is very focused on competition. Nowadays, a little more is appearing. We try to transfer the traditional part of Muay Thai that is not lost and try to make it as similar as possible, but a little softer, a little more dedicated to those people who come to the gym just to practice it as a sport or as a martial art.
Beating you is totally different because he sticks his head to your shoulders, okay? Now we're going to explain that anyway.
We already do it. We have to.
Pull him down as much as possible to make him do. As we're going to chain things and jobs, this work that we're going to do now, then we're going to pass it on. That is, with the leg up and the hands clasped, or grab my sister. There, many things can be done, right? But first, to get to this, yes, we can go inside, boom, we can remove, boom, we can go out. But for that, we're going to practice it first at the base, that is, with the feet supported, and then we're going to move it to the exercise, okay? In this position, this can be worked on a lot with the mittens, and it's very good exercise. That is, we have to think that we get used to grabbing the head. With the head, you don't hit. If we do this, and I'm going to shake hands there, I have one arm. That's going to happen to me many times because we have the habit of saying, no, I enter the body. Body, I enter the cringe, grabbing the head. No, I enter the cringe, grabbing the arms. And after grabbing the arms, we enter inside. But I can't go and grab the head. That's it. Exactly. I have to grab the arms first. This exercise can be done. Imagine that this is two mittens, okay? So I can just work. Look, I can go up and open the space. With going up, I open the space already. Boom. One, okay? I go up, boom, space. I go up, boom, space. Low, boom. I have the space. I go down, boom. I have the space. I go out, boom. I have the space. I go out, boom. I have the space. I go out, boom. I have the space. I open. I have the space. So notice what we've done. Up first, we're going to open up space. First up. When at first you see him like that and you don't understand it well, but when he pushes and I go up, his body moves forward, he loses a little bit of the balance. Because when I take away that point of support, he does this, okay? However, if the two are standing, they stay like this, but if he pushes, he does this, he comes towards me. So I open the first hole up, okay? So that you remember up first, we're going to name it like that. Up first, boom, left, right, down. Always controlling the other arm, because if I do just like this and under this one, boom. No, this arm I have to have it under control. Boom, up, left, right, down, left, right. Displacement, boom. Displacement, boom. I open, you say. How do I open? It's not that I'm going to open the door. That's simply when he's going to grab me, I already have my hands open. An elbow, okay? Then we will see what is called like end and how that exercise is worked. But it's important that you take that into account because these exercises will later be passed on to many things in your work, okay? But you have to work on it first from the ground up to understand it well and then move it on to the exercise. Up, boom, okay? Without displacing it, now I did it with forgiveness, now without displacing backwards. The closer we have the elbow, the easier, the more open, the easier it is to get our hand out, okay? While I do this, he sticks his hand out from underneath. The closer he gets to my body, the harder it is for him to get his hand out. I glue the body, boom. I stick the body, boom. Displacement, lateral, boom. Open, boom. Lift and close, boom, boom. The two arms, okay? I lift, go down, boom. All two arms, okay? One, up, two, bam, down, three, bam, side, four, inside, five, bam, open, bam, elbow, put on guard, low, boom, elbow, low, boom, elbow, open, lift. Yes, first, lift and open the hole, boom, hit. Second, yes, or straight, depends on the height. That is, here it is ascending, but here it is down. Downwards as well. Sure, it depends on the height. It depends on the height. It serves exactly the same for the knee, exactly the same. That is, we maintain, lift, boom, knee low, boom, knee open, boom, knee. Displacement, boom, knee. The same work works for the knees. The same work works for all of that. Just the control of the arms, okay? Okay. How do we get inside? I can't do like that. Try to get inside like this because he lowers his hand, lowering his other hand. Boom, no. But I'm going to get inside in a lot of ways. When he comes to grab my head, this is called lichen, okay? Super important, lichen. That's being able to control the arms. If we control the arms in the melee, we control that exercise, okay? We control the arms inside when he comes to grab my head. Notice that we go down with the triceps practically. We don't go down with the arms. Because if you are strong, I don't have the strength to do it, but I do have strength if I do it with my weight. Then what I do is up and down with the triceps, okay?
They start from a very young age because they want to have a little money to help their parents, to buy their candy. It starts from and he is a professional from that age. It is not like here that we start as an amateur and we have that profession. There you start directly as a professional. And of course, from a young age you start to earn your money, so that's a totally different reason. Many of them have nothing but to live and or work in a rice field earning €3 a month, or to start competing and to start winning and to start fighting for a dream, to see the competitors who fight in Bangkok always start on the outskirts, and the small provinces, seeing their idols, seeing those people who have come out of nowhere and now have a better future.
I control, I stick my arm out and go down with my triceps. Super important, okay? If he throws me a crochet, for example, with this side, and I schedule him and I control, okay? But always important to control and not grab. No, control with the triceps. Super important now. Now we're going to do this exercise once every one. He's going to grab me from the inside. I control, okay? Look at my knee today, which is what we're going to do. I'm just passing it inside, but look, boom, knee. We're just going to do that with the knee. Once every one, we can do it with the two sides equal. Grab, boom. I control this knee that's outside. Go inside, give a little push. Knee, okay? The push, we do it in this direction, but where do we end up? Same movement we did before. Exactly. Always the same movement of making a hole and moving, okay? It blocks it. Exactly. Then it grabs me again. I control. I put my knee inside. Did I go this way? This side. Sorry, what's going on? Boom. Okay. If it's on the other side, I do it with my strong knee, which is the right hand. but it can be done with the left as you want. But I do this exercise, for example, with the right hand. And it's very important that they know that these modula that is missing, although it's done a lot. Shot at the knee you pulled, for example, this is missing, and now we're starting to give it a hard time again. There came a time when the referees told us people started to protest because all judo techniques are forbidden in Muay Thai, and all these foot sweeping techniques are prohibited. And now it's back to what it's like to go back to tradition, okay? So with the knee, we can do whatever we want. We can move as we want. We can open with the knees, but with the leg, it's prohibited. It's a foul, okay? The avid one's gonna bother you. It's gonna bother you. And if you do it many times verbally, it can bother you, okay? Then grab, control, look, control. Very important. I pass the leg from the outside in, pull, knee, okay? A little bit so you can see how I push. Okay, at the same time, I hollow on the other side, doing well, perfect. I give it to one side, pull it to the other.
That I tell you that.
I gave you a lot of thought. Okay, perfect, whenever you want. That is, once you are thus gripped perfectly, you can go up and grab perfectly without any problem. That's already, once you have an arm under control, whenever you want. Tell me, hey, about the doubts or questions that your classmates ask me or that they ask everyone, because I'm going to explain it, because that's how we solve it for everyone. He just told me not necessarily once I control. So it is not necessary. On the contrary, it's many times that we grab the head. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to explain some things that don't have to, that have to do with hand to hand, but that way we are chaining one thing with another, and they are the points of support. And this is a super important thing that you learn. Look, everybody rest their hand there. It seems fine. Push my face. Okay, push my face now. He can't. Why? Because I have the fulcrum placed on my shoulder. From the moment I pass the fulcrum, he already pushes my face. But as long as I have the fulcrum supported well, it is much more difficult for him to push my face. So that is very important, that what they take into account. The point of support. What do I do when I have the right foothold? To pass. And if I don't go through here, I go outside. Now you're going to see it later, but it's super important to have the points of support. Because when we support each other like this, we seem to be fine. He pushes my face, and that's it. The only thing I can do is block, okay? That's mainly one of the main ways to stop the body, to stop the cringe. If the person does grab you, boom, hand to face. That's super important, okay? So we continue doing the same thing. We go down, but now we're going to make a variant as well. Look, he grabs me and I control. We're doing it with one leg. And now look, two, boom, the two legs, okay? Again, I grab leg, boom, the two legs. The two legs makes it do, and you stay there straight. So what do? I control instead of one and turning. Now I'm going to do the two, the ones that corroborate me, and I pass them inside. Finish at the knee only. Boom! It's just the one to be able to put the arm, keep it tilted. Of course, if you put it straight, it can always be tilted, and so on for the one he can push you. This is basic melee defense, yes? Anyone who grabs you, you have to push their face, okay? An L, right? Clear, exactly, inclined. It's like a roof, always like a roof of a house. If it does not fall, what does water do? It stagnates, then it is the same. Just like now, to protect the blows, he has to be inclined for that, okay? So the point of support is very important. What does he do? He puts his shoulder underneath, puts in, and that's it. He passes his shoulder if he wants, and then he takes off the point of support.
It's a little, this pastel art is, we know it's very hard. It's very, very traumatic and very hard when they're fighting. But at the same time, it's very respectful between. Because if you watch MMA, everyone shows it's grateful. I kill you. I don't know.
It's totally different.
Totally different. Totally different.
Do you live? Why? Bye.
Because first is tradition, respect. If you notice, The Muay Thai in general, they are very respectful. For me, the hardest sport is boxing, because the number of rounds is very long, because all the blows are aimed at the head, because the rest is much shorter, and yet, in Muay Thai there are only 5 rounds, the rest is 2 minutes. It is 1 minute more than in all the arts of combat sports, and the fighter is very careful. That is, when a fight there is not equal, the referee stops and ends the fight. But he does not have to leave as here or as in Europe that the one who is far superior not than the other to win the fight, right? A month ago, for example, one of our students, a Thai, fought a Ukrainian boy, and in the second round the difference was so great that the referee stopped the fight, so the Ukrainian boy didn't understand why. So I went to the locker room and told him, look, the fight had no reason to continue. Yes, but I could still go on, yes, but for what? If you can fight again without hurting yourself, you lose health. Of course, exactly, they fighters, normally Thai, fight every 21 days, so every 21 days they save a lot in the fights to be able to continue fighting because it's their way of life. Because if you get injured and you can't fight, you don't eat. That's it.
Chaining. We're still warming up. We've gotten into the class at the same time we've been warming up, okay? It is very important to control, stay with things. That is, people stay with the techniques. Oh, how beautiful. But it is not really what I'm looking for. That is, teaching techniques teaches everyone. The most important thing that you keep with these things are the points of support with the displacements, which is what will make you learn Muay Thai, not Muay Thai techniques, okay? I can do a jujitsu without knowing how to do jujitsu because I only know one jujitsu technique. So we have to learn Muay Thai, not just Muay Thai techniques, okay? That's what you have to take into account. That I don't pretend I can now do here 1,000 techniques that you decide. How beautiful, how freaking out, but it's not my intention, okay? My intention is for you to learn and to progress in these things, okay? Not that they learn techniques that in the end are very relative, because then you go to the ring and you go to work straight. Crochet, kicking, blocking, dodging, and kicking, okay? And sometime it will be something, but the base is the fundamental thing, okay? So we continue. We are going, for example, to get to the lichen in a different way. When he's going to grab on the neck, with the other hand, for example, he has it. If he puts his hand inside, what are we going to do? If we, for example, are going to do the technique in this case, now we're going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my hand inside, and he's going to close his elbow to defend. How do I get out of this? On the outside knee. Okay, look again. I'm going to put my hand inside, and he closes his elbow so that I can't put it in. Then I go outside, and again, we go back to the displacement of the beginning. If I do this without the displacement of the beginning, like this, I would like the strong one not to come out and lose my balance. But if I make the displacement of the principle, what is it? I pass my leg over here then. I go out, change, boom. So the defense of when I'm going to put my hand inside, then we're going to do other work on that, okay? The defense when I'm going to put my hand inside is to close my elbow, because I'm going to look for that he closes his elbow. And I come out with a pull and a displacement, like that. I put my hand inside, and at the same time as I move, I pull, but I do the same movement that we did at the beginning, so that you can see how important this movement that we did at the beginning is, that we're going to do it throughout our work in hand-to-hand combat, okay? Then again, I try to put my hand inside. Why do I always try to put my hand inside? Because when I have tears inside, I have the best open position. When I have two hands inside, I have more stability, I have more grip, okay? It does not mean that you cannot work on the outside. You can work on the outside. There are many people who work very well on the outside, but if I try to work on the inside, I sometimes have a much better position. So we're going to do this hand, which is the one I have grabbed on the outside. This one I have attached to the neck. I'm going to put inside, but when he closes his elbow, I force him to stay. I pull him out with the pull, a knee or elbow. I close to him, pull, but notice how with my shoulder I stick out his arm. Cloth. Of course, because if not, your arm will be caught. No need. I put my hand in. Then he defends by closing his elbow. When he defends by closing his elbow, I gear on with my shoulder, knee, gear on with my shoulder, just because. The shoulder. Shoulder, gear on, and shoulder. They have to take this into account. It's very complicated if we were to divide this by levels, by more beginner, more advanced levels. It's much simpler because there are many things that for many of you are complicated and other things will be much simpler, okay? Do not worry about learning everything by heart, but flow and learn the essential things that little by little you will learn all this. I have to give simpler things. I have to give more advanced things so that everyone can take advantage, okay? So don't stay a little, damn, it's very complicated for me. It's normal. There are things that are not yet for our time, for our training time, but we'll get to it with work, okay? This is a little difficult for many people, but it is a fundamental way out to get out of this grip of the body, this grip of the neck. What is happening? That many people, when doing this, close their elbows, they pull us by the shoulder too. I can go out like that just with my shoulder, okay? So you have to go out with your shoulder and at the same time displace, because what is the point of doing this and staying here if I elbow myself? Boom, it's useless for me. I let go of my claw and I have to get out of his comfort zone, so I have to move. I go in, and when he doesn't let me in because he closes, I take advantage of the space that is outside, but I pull the shoulder too. Shoulder pull too. Important. Do it again. Don't worry that it doesn't come out. It will come out. Come on, you have to practice. Don't think I learned this last night, okay? That cost me a lot too. He closes his hand. As soon as he closes his hand outside on his knees, come on, pull, close. This hand cannot be left to you. A lot. Yes, amazing. No, I close easily from here, of course. That is, he has to try to take it. That is, he has to win it. He just goes, he's going to close. You are the one who's going to make that move. I mean, is that he has to try not to let go here for sure. Now, he's not going to let go. He's not going to let go. He's going to let go. He's going to hold on tight. Washing, the Tate, is the work we did before to put it into practice a little bit, right? So we warm up, keeping the mitten. Keeping the mitten. We're going to work with just the elbows at first. So we can just hit straight. That's okay. Lift, and boom, elbow, remove, boom, elbow, bang, open, boom, elbow, okay? We're just going to work on the elbows that we're going to go in first and warm up with that. We open, boom, elbow, grab me. Like in well closed, boom, elbow, boom, boom. We turn with only the first ones. Boom, elbow. Don't think about it. We maintain. Remember what we did before. Up. We open slowly. Boom. Elbow, down. An elbow. Don't go back. A. Down here. And don't you be careful not to put your elbow in there because it's dangerous. A little bit outside. An elbow. Okay? We went down. A great goal. We moved a great goal. Well closed. Again, the displacement. A great goal. Okay? I went elbow low.